right now on 12 News at 10.
Two best friends died in a fiery crash just outside of the valley. And tonight, the family wants to know why law enforcement didn't tell them.
They definitely loved each other a lot.
A newly released court record says 8 East Valley teen violence cases are related, including the murder of Preston Lord.
Weeks after the arrest and the firing of Patrick Batillo at Peoria High School, the parents of his players take their concerns straight to district leaders.
We're continuing our coverage of the crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border. The latest from Yuma on how it's affecting Arizona communities.
And we're sitting down with a 15-year-old who's graduating with a master's degree from Arizona State.
12 News at 10 starts right now.
Tonight, two Valley families are devastated after learning their loved ones were killed yesterday in a fiery crash involving a semi-truck. It happened yesterday about 2 hours west of Phoenix. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. The two men were best friends and they were driving to Lake Havasu City when the crash happened. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly is live in studio with us tonight. After speaking to the family of one of those victims, and Chase, they say it wasn't law enforcement who told them what happened.
Mark Ribe, it was an emergency notification that was sent to the victim's brother's iPhone moments after impact. Two best friends.
They definitely loved each other a lot.
Christopher Stevens and Jonathan Hernandez were more like brothers.
There was nothing that could bring those two apart.
That's coming from Chris's own brother, Elijah Stevens.
He was really sweet. He was just really nice to me all the time, you know. I think he knew I didn't have many friends, so he was always there to be my best friend.
Both young men, just 21 years old, worked at a funeral home. On Wednesday, they were driving up to Lake Havasu City for work when the Arizona Department of Public Safety says they crashed into the back of a semi-truck. The van they were in caught fire and trapped both men inside. Elijah says he got an emergency notification on his iPhone that his brother Chris was in a crash.
I just called him.
But there was no answer, deciding to drive to his last known location to find out for himself what happened.
I raced over there.
About halfway there, his uncle called him and told him that his brother died in that crash.
I didn't think it was real. I didn't want to believe it.
Jonathan was flown to a nearby hospital, but died from his injuries.
It was definitely a sad drive back home.
Making matters harder for the families, they claim law enforcement hasn't confirmed to them that it was Chris and Jonathan who died in the crash.
It's just kind of upsetting knowing if I didn't get that text, I would just think my brother's lost right now, you know?
As they all grieve together, Elijah says they are trying to stay strong, knowing that his brother wouldn't want any of them to feel this way. DPS told us the semi-truck involved was slowing down to turn when the crash happened. All of this is still under investigation. We're live in the studio. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thanks. We're learning new details tonight about a deadly shooting involving Chandler police. It happened around 1:30 yesterday near Chandler Boulevard in McClintock when police got a call about a domestic disturbance. The homeowner told officers that a relative who didn't live there was behaving erratically in the backyard. When police approached, the man, who was armed with 2 knives, started threatening officers. Police tried using less lethal means, but the suspect allegedly started charging at the officers. That's when 3 officers fired at the suspect, who died at the scene. He's been identified as 45-year-old Ruben Lopez. The 3 officers have been placed on administrative leave while the department investigates.
New tonight, the city of Chandler is taking steps to combat teen violence, moving forward with 2 ordinances aimed at stopping incidents before they happen. One of the ordinances discussed by the city council tonight revolves around banning brass knuckles for teens. It would make it illegal for a juvenile to possess, sell, or gift knuckles of any kind of metal. The other ordinance would increase the punishment for hosting an unruly gathering. The city council will reconvene for a final vote on the measures on May 23rd, and then the new laws would take effect on June 24th.
Now, the discussion in Chandler was sparked by the murder of Preston Lord in Queen Creek last October. And for the first time, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office is laying out the cases they say may be related to that murder. As the 7 suspects accused of killing Lord appeared in court today, attorneys talked about separate cases where evidence may overlap.
12 News journalist Bianca Bono has been covering this story since the very beginning and has more on the new developments.
Guys, it's all laid out in this court document. It says that 8 criminal cases involving 16 adult suspects are related. In a newly filed court document, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office is saying at least 8 cases of teen violence in the East Valley, including the death of 16-year-old Preston Lord, are related. It was discussed in a hearing Thursday for the 7 suspects accused of killing Lord.
We just got an email from the county attorney last night talking about disclosures on, I believe it would be 7 other separate cases.
12 News obtained records laying out those 7 other cases. November 22nd, 2022, an aggravated assault involving suspects William Hines and Tyler Freeman. December 2nd, 2022, another aggravated assault involving suspects William Hines, Tyler Freeman, and Jacob Pennington. The next day, an aggravated assault involving suspects Jack Woods, Gage Garrison, and Kyler Renner, the older brother of Lord murder suspect Talon Renner. Then December 16th, 2022, an aggravated assault of 2 alleged victims at the hands of suspect Noah Pennington. And the day after that, an aggravated assault involving suspects Gage Garrison and Cody Kosteritz. A May 29th, 2023 aggravated assault involving suspect Christopher Fantastic. And the August 2023 aggravated assault of Rick Keener's son outside of the Gilbert In-N-Out involving suspects Christopher Fantastic and Ari Serradondo. Then came Lord's deadly attack in October.
Because there is some association with the information that was disclosed and tied to this particular case, we wanted to make sure that that information was available in case it may include information that is exculpatory or inculpatory for their clients.
The document states there are instances where information or videos from one case may be relevant to another. So the county attorney's office is working to set up a system allowing attorneys in all 8 of these cases to access each other's evidence and information. And this document comes 1 week after the Gilbert Police Department announced the Gilbert Goons were officially designated a gang, though members in active cases are not facing gang charges. Police would not comment on who they've identified as a member. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
All right, Bianca, thank you. Developing tonight in Peoria, police are investigating a crash that left 2 people seriously injured. It happened in the area of 91st Avenue and Grand. Police say that several cars were involved, with one of them catching fire. Thankfully, everybody was able to get out, but 2 people were taken to the hospital. Police are still investigating what led up to the crash.
New at 10, weeks after the arrest and firing of Peoria High School boys basketball coach Patrick Batillo, also known as Mr. Orange, parents of those student athletes got a chance to voice their concerns to the Peoria school superintendent. 12 News journalist Jonathan McCall has the latest on their search for answers.
Fed up and frustrated.
We have asked him to make sure that they clean house.
Thursday, parents of the Peoria High boys basketball team met with Peoria's superintendent about the recent arrest of head basketball coach Patrick Batillo on child sex crime charges.
We do not trust their leadership, we do not trust their guidance, and we don't trust their decision-making skills.
District leaders fired Batillo last month. A second teacher, Holly Holgate, faces charges of interfering with the investigation. Previous head boys basketball coach William Roberts was found not guilty last month in a separate case of sexual misconduct dating back to 2006. Janelle Wood with the Black Mothers Forum says while the district investigates the recent arrest of Batillo and Holgate, she is concerned about a lack of resources and effort by the district to help Batillo's players who don't want to return to school.
And yet access way too much freedom with our children, and many of our families were not aware of it.
Wood is calling on the district to suspend the basketball team until it can get new coaches. She's also calling for the district to instill new leadership at the school. Wood says that current students and even former students are starting to speak out about incidents and fears that there could be more victims who have yet to come forward.
We don't know how deep this goes, but we know it goes deeper than what we're seeing. We're just at the surface of this.
Wood said that the Peoria superintendent has agreed to meet with those parents. 12 News reached out to Peoria Unified Schools for a comment. So far, we have yet to hear back. As for Patrick Batillo, he remains out on bond after pleading not guilty to those sex crime charges. Jonathan McCall, 12 News.
All right, Jonathan, thank you for that. Well, ASU is wrapping up graduation this week, and there is one graduate who already has quite the resume. Elena McCorder is just 15 years old, and get this, she is graduating with a master's degree in biological sciences. She is the youngest person to earn that achievement, and she's also graduating with the highest distinction possible. We caught up with Elena earlier today to learn more about her educational journey that included a stop at NASA, where she was the youngest person to ever earn an internship.
I was 12 when I graduated from high school, going into college at Arizona State University, and from there I started off saying I wanted to build rovers, so I was actually accepted into NASA to do an internship. After this, I would love to be going on to pursue my PhD in infectious disease.
Beyond impressive, Elena says that she wouldn't have been able to get to this point without lots of hard work and the endless support from her mother.
Unbelievable. Congratulations. Still ahead, we'll take you to the southern border. We'll look at how the border crisis continues to impact Arizona communities 1 year after a major policy change. Plus, SpaceX launches again. We'll explain what their mission is this time around.
And the Suns are looking for a new head coach. We'll break down what's next after the team parted ways with Frank Vogel.
We are done with the 80s and the below average temperatures for now. Temps start going up for the weekend, and we have triple digits showing up in the 7-day outlook minutes away.
Don't go anywhere. 12 News at 10 is coming right back.